r/Askreddit by mr.greatstory. Today we have two interesting stories that are connected, so watch till the end. Gay people of Reddit, what was your oh shit I'm gay moment? I was about 11, and I kept talking trash about this female artist. I was just going on and on about how I hate her music. Truly she is just the worst. Another peer finally asked me, if you don't like her, why do you keep talking about her? Oh, I just didn't know how to express attraction. Year 8 when my bully started humping me too. Kid logic? Prove I was a proof. I enjoyed that more than he wanted me to. In my defense, he was a very good looking bully. Nathan, my first real gay boner crush. My middle school teacher, whom I looked up to and coincidentally very beautiful, told us that she had to take some time off because her wife was giving birth and she wanted to be there for her. I was 11. I'd heard of people being gay or lesbian, but thought it couldn't be real in the back of my mind. I hadn't heard of bi or trans or race people at that point either. My family is quite traditional. I never knew to like other girls was an option, much less something that could happen to me. It's like how you know dinosaurs are real when you're a kid, but you have no frame of reference to conceptualize a dinosaur because you've never seen one. I'd been wondering why I hadn't developed a crush on my best guy friend like I was supposed to. Hindsight 20/20 haha. I also distinctly remember googling on incognito stuff like how to tell if you are lesbian, am I a lesbian quiz, what is a lesbian, and flannel. The lesbian quiz told me I was only 60% gay because I didn't own flannels or had dyed hair, which pissed me off. Lying in bed that night, I thought about holding hands with a boy, gross and they looked like frogs, versus holding hands with a girl, exciting and wonderful, and accepted it internally then. My first gay crisis moment wasn't until BO class freshman year of high school when my very pretty classmate tucked her hair behind her ear and I tripped staring. Legitimately went ass over tea kettle, knocked over a stool, and swept a stack of textbooks off a table. Said it was because my shoelaces were untied, but it was actually because I was too busy staring at the mesmerizing curve of her wrist and wondering what kind of shampoo she used to get her hair so soft and gorgeous. Spending more time than necessary picking out underwear in department stores, wondering what the models looked like without underwear. That shortly led to looking up gay porn lol. Lesbian here. When I was around 5 my brother brought home his first girlfriend. He was 15 and she was 16. I remember being obsessed with her. Her name was Tara and she had long brown hair and would compliment my drawings. She gave me a teddy bear and I still have it to this day. Looking back, I had a huge crush on her. I grew up in a very conservative household. My mom is Alex Jones levels of paranoid and political. I strongly believed I was straight due to all the propaganda she fed me at an early age. I went to boot camp and one day was on security detail during the night. Afterward, I took a shower and it was just me and another guy who had a security detail with me. Guy jokingly says, "Hey man, nice ass." We laughed and I didn't think about it too much. Cut to me back in school and I'm thinking about that moment during lunch. My girlfriend is talking to me, but I'm completely spaced out and I'm thinking, do I have a nice ass? Eventually, my girlfriend sees me spacing out and goes, "So anyway, what are you thinking about?" I pause for a second and go, "I think I might be gay." We are good friends still. She was a huge help in me coming out, and I probably wouldn't be the man I'm today without her help. But I still think it was funny AF. I was like 12 or 13. I watched the movie, but I'm a cheerleader because it was on TV late one night and I was like, yep, I'm gay. Oh man. I had just turned 11 and recently discovered HBO, or whatever late night cable porn, and had been watching for a few months. Some shows you get full frontal male nudity, but mostly you just get female full frontal and everything except the dude stick. I remember figuring this out and was watching this really hot scene with a guy and a girl and just being so frustrated cause all I wanted to see was his dick. Just remember thinking, come on show your fucking cock dude, and was like, oh that's what being gay means. I had always been told it was a choice, so the realization that it was just my natural unbidden desires really turned my world upside down. Years later I actually identify more as B since, TBH, pussy is great, but definitely into men. I never knew until I started to develop feelings for my best friend. We had been close since middle school, but around 8th or 9th grade I started feeling attracted to her. Of course, since we both came from Christian backgrounds, I tried to deny it, and I even made up stories about liking guys, just to seem straight in front of my peers. But when those feelings wouldn't go away, my mind was just like, fuck. Before that I had never had any real crushes on anyone in my school, and I thought that romance was sappy, and not worth my time. I still kinda feel that way today, but I realized from this incident, that when I fall for a girl, I fall hard. When I realized I fell in love with my best friend. Also we were both on the football team and we shared a locker. When I was a Mormon missionary in Eastern Europe, the other missionaries were tempted by the pretty girls and lingerie ads, and I was tempted by the other missionaries. Edit. Thanks for the silver. I liked Beast Boy and Raven from Teen Titans. It clicked when I realized. I'm so embarrassed, but it was while watching that absolutely grim show A Shot at Love with Tilla Tequila on MTV. I was an 18 years old girl, had never met a gay person that I knew about in real life, and boom I loved all those lesbians on the show. Danny the firefighter, thanks for all the feelings. Can't believe it's a shout out to Tilla Tequila for her dumb show. Damn. 4 hours late to the party here. Hopefully, somebody sees this. The hot girl on a college campus that my friends all wanted, but she wanted me. I was questioning if I was gay and found guys attractive, but never told anyone. I thought I just needed to have sex with a girl to prove I wasn't gay. I went back to her room, making out, get her undressed, decide to just go for it, and with my face literally inches from her lower lady bits I say out loud, I'm gay. Sorry, it's not you. I'm gay. Really gay. She was pissed and confused. I got dressed and went back to my buddy's dorm. I told him I was gay. He was shocked, but supportive and happy he has a chance with her now. I was at summer camp between 7th and 8th grade. I'd made a new friend and we were talking about stuff, getting to know each other. He made an offhand comment about one of his friends who was bisexual. I was like, what does that mean? I'd never even heard of the concept before then. It had never even crossed my mind that people could be romantically interested in the same sex. So he tells me what it means to be gay and bisexual. I think to myself, huh, am I? I didn't know I could be like that. Maybe I am. Spoiler alert, I was. As a kid, girls were gross. Kissing was gross. Just, I mean, we knew that one day we'd start hooking up with girls, but we never understood why. Then, as I started to hit puberty and noticed that everyone else was suddenly into girls, I still thought they were gross. We'd watch porn together, and I'd be looking at the dude and the cock, rather than the chicken boobs. But what really did it for me was when I was showering in the communal showers in the changing rooms at school, and this dude 2 years older than me, I'm 11, he's 13, is standing behind me asking how long I'm going to be, and I look at him, then look down, then look at his seemingly massive cock and all of a sudden wanted in me. I looked back up at him, and he knew I'd been staring at his cock. So I just looked at him and said nice watch, because he was wearing a watch, and then left the shower. Thanks, Ryan. Your cock made me realize I was gay, and no, his cock never went in me. I never had any crushes or interest in anything romantic until quite a few years after my sister and stepsister did. 13 months and 22 months younger than me, respectively. Then, when I finally developed a crush, it was on a girl. Suppressed it 4 years after my crush rejected me, so hard even I, myself, believed it was untrue, until I got drunk around a campfire with my best friend, and ended up making out with her all night. My best friend and I have now been married for 5 months. Edit. Thanks for the silver, kind stranger. Edit 2, and thank you so much for the gold. I'm B, and I realized it a little while after a friend of mine came out to me as B. How do you know? I asked her. I just know that I check out both girls and guys, she replied. That doesn't mean you're B. Everyone does that. I check out girls and guys, TO. I was 12 years old. I was watching the movie Practical Magic for the umpteenth time. Sandra Bullock did something particularly attractive, and it clicked in my brain, and suddenly I just knew. I'd been wondering for a little while after a female friend of mine did something unintentionally suggestive, and I had a really strong reaction. But it was that particular viewing of Practical Magic that took me from "is it possible I'm gay?" to "wow, I'm an entire lesbian." The moment I, a male, thought "damn, why are all the hot guys gay?" followed immediately by "wait, what?" My best friend, who grew up as a good Irish Catholic schoolgirl, was walking behind a woman in an airport in the most amazing yellow dress, just going on and on in her head about how beautifully it flowed, how it curved, how it settled on. After minutes of this, she realized that actually she was just staring at that ass. It was an amazing ass. Oh shit, she thought as she realized, looking back down her life, every time I've admired another woman's clothes, I've totally been admiring them. So, yeah, that ass changed her life. I'm B, fresh out of the closet, even though I tried my hardest to suppress it. The moment I realized my taste in man, I was watching Captain America Winter Soldier in the cinema. The moment WS jumped from the bridge into the roof of a car and walked straight into camera just made me go, oh, freaks. I realized that not only I wanted that to have that physique, to cause that same effect on women, but I also wanted to obey a man like that. Fun fact, my father was by my side during the movie. In 6th grade, my teacher made an announcement after people had been making poor taste gay jokes. He said, "There's a high chance that one of you in here is gay, and you probably don't know it. It might be you, so shut up." And at that moment I was like, LMFAO, yeah, okay, sure, I'd kilometers if I was gay. And then 2 years later I was cranking it to a guy, and after a while of doing that I was like, oh, maybe I'm gay. Edit. First silver, thanks, lads. One of my gay friends was telling me how he realized he was gay, and I found myself relating to everything he was saying. Before that, I thought I was asexual. I knew I wasn't into girls, but had never really seriously contemplated whether or not I was into guys. Perhaps because I was afraid of the conclusion I'd reach, so I just settled on thinking I was asexual. In hindsight, I'd always been into guys. I just misinterpreted all my feeling of attraction as feelings of jealousy. I'd see a hot guy and tell myself that I really wanted to look like him, and that was why I couldn't stop staring. It made sense at the time, even though it sounds absurd in retrospect. During that conversation, the realization that I had been in denial for years just hit me, and I knew I was gay. I can't remember that exact moment, but I'll share the story of coming out to my parents. One night my mother came up to my bedroom and talked to me about how depressed and quiet I had been of late. She told me, "I want you to know, no matter what, your father and I love you." I started crying, and she said, "If there's something bothering you, tell me, so I can help. I love you, and can handle anything." I covered my face, bawling. She then said, "We won't judge you for anything, not even whom you love." At this point, I realized she knew, and wanted me to say it, but I wasn't ready to say it. Instead, I said, "I didn't want you to find out like this." She comforted me, and stressed the need for me to tell my father soon. I was very reluctant and scared to do so. Well, she told him the next day when I was at school, explaining years later that she couldn't keep a secret from her husband like that, and wanted to be sure he would have time to process. When I got home my mother fessed up, and my dad said, "Son, I don't care who you love, it makes no difference to me, so long as you are happy and healthy." I sat on the dining room table and cried again, but this time for being wholly accepted by the family I love, and that loves me. So really, I didn't come out, my mother outed me, but in the best way possible. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad, for being the best parents any son could hope to have. Edit. Holy crap, I did not expect this to blow up. Thank you for the gold and silvers. Just so everyone knows, I'm very close with both of my parents, and have told them of all the Redditors who praise them. I'd like to reply to everyone, but it's just way too much typing, so I'll upvote instead. Thank you all so much. Blind gay people of Reddit, how did you know you were gay? A common misconception about being gay is that the awareness of being gay is any different than the awareness of being straight. Here's how I know I'm straight. I'm a guy. At a certain age, I started feeling differently around girls. I like to look at them in a certain way. I like to hear their voices and to be around them. I like to dance with them and hold their hands. I like to kiss them and hug them and talk on the phone to them well into the night. In serious relationships, I would feel like there just wasn't enough time because we each had to go to our respective homes instead of just staying up all night and talking, which was all we wanted to do. Eventually, I learned that this was what it was like to be straight, but I never thought of it as being straight. It was just how I was. My son is gay, and all I can hope is that he has the opportunity to feel the same things while he's young as I did at his age. And I don't care whom he feels that way about, nearly as much as some people think I should. The whole story is worth a read, but here is a relevant bit. I knew that I was very different from the other kids, and I felt horribly lonely. I didn't fit in with the sighted kids, but what was worse, I didn't fit in with the blind kids either. All the boys were interested in sports and rough games. I wasn't. Some talked about girls, but because I was blind from birth, and because nobody ever talked to me about sex, I had no idea what was being discussed. I'm ashamed to say that I didn't even know the difference between girls and boys, except that girls were usually nicer to me, and yet, I felt a strange feeling when hugging a male student. When I was 15 years old, a girl explained to me how babies were born. "You're very stupid," Harry told me. "Your father stuck his penis in your mother's hole, and that's how you were born. Don't you know anything?" I wanted to ask more questions. Where was this hole? What was all this talk about hard-ons and erections? But I knew that if I admitted how little I knew, I'd be laughed at, so I kept quiet. I could not ask my mother. She never talked about such things, and I knew she would only be upset and tell me not to ask so many questions. So, I ordered books in Braille about sex and read them and had a vague understanding. What is surprising and very important is that I began to realize that I was attracted to other boys and men and not to women. I realized that I had a strange feeling when close to people of my own sex that I did not have when I was with women. I somehow knew that this was not the way it should be and never mentioned it to anyone. Thank you for watching. Tell me which one was your favorite. Like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more. The next video will be even more interesting. You are a legend.